how I have
Oh, just stand in one spot?
You'll need to write one on the sentence. Later we're gonna reference all of them.
I wrote it down too, guys. Now we read. Sorry. I need to do one.
Yeah.
It's huge. I have popcorn.
At least it's not very different.
Yeah, that's as good as it gets.
It's only Does anyone need more time to finish the do now? The do now is write your objective for the day on a sentence strip on your desk. Include your grade level and your subject somewhere on your sentence strip. Just little on your sentence strip somewhere.
You still with your...
10 seconds. All right. 3, 2, 1. Our objective for you is teachers will be able to create and write meaningful, measurable, and kid-friendly objectives using the initiative rubric as a guide. And our agenda for tonight is our do now, why, the I do, check it out, the we do is dig deep, and the you do is bring it in.
Okay, so real quickly before we get into what you're going to do, we are going to look at why we decided to go with objectives as our first PLC. So last week we came around to, Rich and Abby and myself came around to rooms and graded you on the objective rubric that we're going to pass out again in a little bit. It's the one that you looked at during our summer PLC week. And we looked through the rubric to see where we were at already, so to kind of get a baseline. If you remember, we're hoping to get 70% advanced by the end of September. Right now, we're at 2% advanced.
By October 1st. That's our
Sorry,
first.
October 1st, thank you. So as we went through, we had 2% showing advanced on objectives and 7% advanced, 28% proficient, 45% partially proficient, and 21% unsatisfied. feel like we can grow pretty quickly. I think that we can make really big gains on posting our objectives, making sure that our students can speak to our objectives. And that's why we decided to go with this.
And this is one of our, if you remember from our little spiel we gave during training week, this is one of 3 of our goals for this year. And this is the only goal that says that 100% of teachers will be at advanced by the end of the year, because this is a goal that we feel that that's really attainable. Like everyone can write a good objective and stick to it in their lessons.
So this is one of the big 3 things that we said we're looking for to help our kids to be able to make that 1.1 or that 1.5 growth throughout the year. So we're going to pass out the rubric again. We made just a couple slight tweaks to make it more reflective of what we're seeing in the classrooms. It gives percentages on the top so you know what percent we're trying to see at different times. Again, this is what you are doing in your classroom. This is not, it relates to what kids are doing because they'll be able to understand it better and they'll be able to speak to it. But this is the actions that you're taking. So as you're looking through the rubric, you'll notice that there are some kind of key points. Abby and I are going to speak to kind of some of the general things that we saw that were keeping us from being at proficient advanced for the majority of our people. So one really quick and easy fix that I saw in a lot of rooms, and I know Abby said she saw in a lot of rooms, just that objectives weren't posted. So kids weren't able to see them as they were going through the lesson, and when we popped in, we couldn't see what it was that you were teaching. So making sure a really quick and simple fix is to make sure that you're posting your objectives somewhere in the room. Like, this is a great example. If you look in the back, we have a whiteboard with all of the objectives for reading, writing, and science. And they're always there no matter what's on the board up here.
So some of you, when I was in your room, I heard your students say the objective, or I heard you say the objective, but I still couldn't see it because you introduced it on your first slide of your Active Inspire presentation or whatever, and then it went away. So one way to fix that, as we showed on ours, is to put the objective on every page as you're going through the flip chart, just copy and paste it on there, so that when you come in, there it is. Or even better, just write it on the wall and it stays there throughout the lesson. One big thing that I saw, especially with the lower grades, is that you used a lot of words in your objectives that were not kid-friendly. Like I saw segmenting and familiarize and I just big words that if I asked a kid, they wouldn't know what that word meant. So one big point that we want to make is just because your CKLA book gives you your objective, or your Singapore Math gives you your objective, doesn't mean that it's a great objective for our kids. We really want to infuse the content language objectives into one great objective that our kids can say and understand what they're learning that day. Does that make sense?
And then the
I'm
last
going to go through that more tonight.
Sorry. And then the last big thing that we were noticing was just measurable objectives. So at the end of the lesson, your kids and you should all be able to speak to whether or not you've done what you said you would do in your objective. So we're going to kind of break down what a quality objective looks like before you get an opportunity to break it down yourself using this rubric.
Okay, so we have broken it down into parts of what makes a great objective. So the first one is kid-friendly language. So we should be able to come into your room and ask your students what they're supposed to be able to do, and in their own words, be able to explain it. This is kind of a formula that we put together. So students should will be able to, when you put the action, by, and you list your language part. Using a sentence stem, using vocabulary words. So it's language specific to the lesson. Using, and that's where you put your product or tool. The next one is measurable. How will you know if the kids got it? Can you count it? So in your objective, it should be able to, it will list how you're going to measure that objective. They should be posted and revisited throughout the lesson. And then all activities and exit tickets align with the objective.
So, like on the how will you know if the kids got it, can you count it? That connects to the product or the tool. So students would be able to count by using number words, using partner talk. Like however you're going to assess it. If it's with the little guys, like can they tell their partner what partner word or what number word you're holding up? That's how you're assessing. Any questions on that?
This is kind of, it's a formula that may not work for every objective, so don't feel like it has to always fit, but this is a good way to kind of think through your objective to make sure you're hitting what is the action that they're taking, what are some language systems that you have around it, and what are they going to be able to do at the end of this lesson? How are you going to know that they've learned what you said they were learning? The great thing about writing it this way is it eliminates the need to have a separate objective for your language objective. It really helps you to bring in that language into what you're doing no matter what classroom you're in.
Yes.
And what is SWPT?
Great
Students
will be able to. If you'll notice, we put teachers will be able to. Oh my goodness, unstaffed. Yeah?
What did you mean, what you were just saying about the language objective? Can you say that again?
So, with the WIDA standards, they are looking for like reading, writing, speaking, how you're using language in your lesson to help support our ELL learners. And so in the past, we've done it sort of as two separate standards. So you have your language objective and your content objective, but they really make sense to merge them together so that you're really thinking through how am I using those WIDA standards to help support what I'm doing in the classroom.
What language are they expected to do during your lesson?
And you have this great support being Tara this year, who can help you with those language objectives. Right, Tara?
Yes.
Any more questions about this?
We have some examples that we'll
Yeah.
show.
So at a kinder first, second level, an example might look like students will be able to answer questions about the book, What's the Weather Like, using sentence frames in their writing journal. So that shows the action that they're going to be able to do is answer questions about the book. The language is using sentence frames, and the tool is their writing journal. Does that make sense? Third or fourth grade, students will be able to describe the characteristics of liquids, solids, and gases using vocabulary words and adjectives to a partner. So talk at your table about the 3 parts that we said and describe them using this objective. So what's the action, what's the language, and what's the tool? This one? The third, fourth grade.
When it's in making
So we need to access, right? Games, driving,
Three, 2, 1. Is there a group who wants to share out? Joy?
Okay, so we're looking at the third and fourth, right? So describing is the action. They're gonna use vocabulary words, that's their language piece, and adjectives. And the tool partner is the tool or the way that you will measure whether or not they can do the thing.
The language is the vocabulary words and the adjectives. So let's do the same thing with this one. Students will be able to classify or sort triangles based on their angles by reading descriptions of the triangles and their angles using the math vocabulary words. Notice how it's getting a little harder, the language is getting a little harder as the grade increases. So talk to your group. That's the tool, the vocabulary words are they're like sentences in your ninth grade. I would use ninth grade.
So happy.
3, 2, 1. Can we get another table to share out on this one? Paula? Tracking Paula?
Alright, so the action is that they need to sort triangles. Their language is using the math vocabulary words, and then their tool is the reading descriptions of the triangles and their angles.
Yeah, or the language could be the descriptions and the math vocab is the tool.
Yeah, we were debating with
Yeah.
So, we were just talking, she brought up that point of the using can be the tool as far as the support for the language. Right? And it can be the,
It can be the support and the way you're testing your, the tools.
Do we need to do the last one or are we pretty clear on it? Are there any questions about that?
No, ma'am.
All right.
So, we got some opportunity for us to kind of show you what it looks like, and now you guys get to work together to evaluate one of the objectives. So, if you could hold up your objectives, we're going to come around and collect them. We're going to give you a random one, and you're going to, with your group, use the rubric to evaluate that objective, and then give the writer some suggestions on what you think that they should do to improve it.
Reach it up.
I
What's the constellation? I don't know what that is. It's just kind of put on that. I guess, content specific.
We're supposed to evaluate it on basis of
Just like how many people talk Well, I guess the bottom
I just hear people holding move fast. And nowhere to go. And the other part I just need to cut. What? Around.
It doesn't necessarily have to say it's measurable, it's just how are you going to, in this case, yes, she listened to it and then she would grade it. But they still should be able to talk about it. It's not very kid friendly. I want to get to walk out of the room and say, what you learned today? And they say it, the objective, they don't say that.
So language is not
Actually, yeah.
Yeah, the language is how they're going to say it. Not always. That is explaining. Not always. The language is how you're going to know that you got it. You're going to say you know that they got it.
Yes.
Then
The action is the best.
the first demo would be
Yeah.
right? The tool is how you're going to measure, right? That's very science.
The term language is confusing.
So I would say it's I do too, especially for seven. Yeah, it would be like heavy language.
The reason I would say reports is because it's following my body.
Right, so.
It's like too obvious. That's what we're saying. I think that's a pretty good objective.
So reporting is like a.
I'm gonna get mine again. Literally. They're gonna be able to give you a report of the results of these I mean, the only way that I would say is no, that's the
So I like language is not to me it's more like if I were to use a math, student to multiply and make sense.
I feel like it all over is more like exactly like the products, right? Sometimes they're like steps, like they define two steps. So yeah, like the detail of it's basically like, and then I was like, how are the going to speak that vocabulary? Like what vocabulary do they need to know in order to be successful in those objectives? It doesn't really matter which parts are different.
I did this indirect set in the mirror and I'm like, what is that? And I just wanted to be like, the first one. Yeah, let's keep going. I'm like,
But then the thing is, if they're writing, they're writing backwards, and that's actually the language. They're saying yeah, so that's if it's possible.
They report Put a lot of time into it.
A little bit.
I'm on my phone.
Can you show my readers how much more time you need? Minutes?
Think over here now.
2 more minutes? 2 more minutes.
So we have to grade. I'd say it's hard. I mean,
Color coding. Nice. How are you guys doing? You good? Are you
We have suggestions how to make it better.
That actually is like the idea is
my thought was easier to say she said this wasn't the right
okay, so I think just specify that. So like by reporting quarterly or by written report.
reporting the situation.
There might be
by the language they're just supporting in their respective.
So you just want to add details.
I think really we need to have these
Add details.
Yeah, exactly. So it is, it's just gonna sit. This is a model that would work a lot of times, but sometimes what you do is
Okay, so what we're gonna do now is we're gonna call in a few groups to share out. You're going to tell us how you scored the objective using the rubric and why. Is there a group that is ready to go that would really like to share?
So if you could read your objective to us.